Здравейте, уважаеми зрители! Добре дошли в Будилник. Много се радвам, че сте с нас. Днес имаме страхотни гости. Предаването ще е малко по-различно, но се надявам да останете с нас и да всеки да има възможност по един или друг начин да гледа епизода. Надявам се да ви хареса. This one would be in English. So hi Remy, hi Paul.
Hi. Good
How are you
afternoon.
guys?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
You're fine. You're in Bulgaria for how long?
We bought a house here in 2007, so we've been here a while, but not full time.
Well,
But
we
the last
haven't
2 years we've been in Bulgaria.
We've been locked down in Bulgaria for 2 years.
Yes.
But for the years before that, we've actually been on tour we was on tour for 15 years, going from country to country, from event to event, all on invitations, and also we've been really busy with our
Sand sculptures.
With our sand sculptures.
Yes.
You're doing some beautiful artwork in the beach in Burgas for lots of time now.
Well, just
Longer
over
than
a
a
year.
year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Longer than a year. Yeah, I've been running most of the mornings when the weather is not like this, of course. But I've been running, and this beautiful sculpture started showing up, and I was like, wow, who's doing this? This is great. This is strange. I've never seen stuff like this. We have this sand sculpture festival in Bulgaria, in Burgas, but like this is every week. Who is doing that? And I'm running early, but sometimes I'm seeing you, sometimes not. Sometimes it's you, or the first time I met this girl, Gaia, yeah, and she was
apprentice.
like, there are these two other guys. I was like, I should meet them also. I get the contacts, but this was not ready, and I was recording in my apartment, and it was not okay. But now everything, the time came, and here we are, and I'm so glad to meet you guys. You're bringing joy to every person in Burgas for so long, and I suppose you've been doing this all around the world for longer than that. So can you say why you're doing these sand sculptures? Why you're doing this beauty around the world?
Well, sand sculpting to us is it's not just our work, it's our passion. And like I said, we was travelling for 15 years. We travelled to nearly 30 different countries making sand sculptures. And then all of a sudden we got locked down.
But you're like not locked down here, but locked away from the world, because Bulgaria is kind of open.
Oh yes, but our
For most
festivals were cancelled.
All our festivals were cancelled.
Yes. The competitions we were participating in, and if they went through, then it was just with the people from their own country. Because if they bought tickets for internationals and then they couldn't travel and they lost the money, so they didn't want to risk it. So we haven't been doing our normal festivals and competitions for 2 years.
But luckily, we was very careful, and when we did make money, we spent it, and we bought our farm in central Bulgaria, in Mikhailovo, district Stara Zagora. So when this pandemic started, at least we were somewhere where we were still kind of normal. In the village, it was very normal. Our life didn't change.
Don't go to Australia, you know.
No. I'm not going
in our
anywhere.
village, this life is normal.
In the village,
in the village, no one heard of COVID, I suppose.
Well, it's just
they heard
that
about it,
people
but everybody just gets on with
fresh
their
air,
life.
and just everyone is getting fresh air in a Malco rakia. It's antivirus,
disinfected antivirus.
So
Internal, like Trump suggested, but not bleach, but rakia.
Yeah, just drink rakia. If you get bitten by a snake, put rakia on it. If a brick drops on your head, put rakia on it, or at least drink
for
it.
your throat, for everything.
But anyway, we had a very social lockdown, because we wasn't travelling, wasn't seeing our friends, so we opened up our little farm, and we invited travellers, volunteers
via Workaway. So they came to volunteer and then work on our farm, and we fed them, and we have accommodation. We have a spare house. We bought our neighbor's house.
But these are some other like foreigners?
Yeah, foreigners, people from Israel, people from South America, from Germany,
Italy,
Sweden.
Germany,
just
England.
Travelling people that were...
Colombia, Peru.
How do you find these people?
They find us.
They find us.
How are they finding you?
It's an internet site, Workaway. And we made a profile.
Workaway.
And then people who want to come to Bulgaria, they can find us.
But I didn't know it is about like doing sand sculptures
We
on the
did
other?
some-
Oh,
Yeah,
this
we-
this sort of for
End
on
of
our
the world.
farm. It's the any work. You exchange
work,
work
yeah.
for accommodation and food.
But Gaia was a workaway. She
Yes,
came
she
to
was,
us.
yeah.
She turned up on the beach. She was a workaway, and she stayed with us for 4 months. She came for 2 weeks and stayed for 4 months.
Shout out to Gaia.
Yeah,
If
big
she's
shout out to
listening
Gaia,
to this, Gaia, thank you for introducing
Yeah.
us. And she was the person that all of this happening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
guys.
she was
Because of
actually
her.
the first workaway that we trained for sand sculpture. The other workaways they mainly worked on our farm.
That sounds
So
great.
it's quite funny though, because I can remember like been not doing sand sculpture for a year, not actually making the sculpture, and for me and for Remy, that's just not heard of. So something wasn't getting expressed, and
we
it
need
was,
to create.
and it wasn't good because we were creating things, but we were creating things on our farm. We were creating new fences and new projects and that, but there was something that was itching. And then, of course, everything shut down. So in Burgas, you couldn't go to a restaurant, you couldn't go to a bar, you couldn't do anything.
Theatre, cinemas, everything was closed.
The only thing you
here.
could do was walk in the park and walk on the beach. So I decided to come down and just to try and do something. So I turned up the first week and I built a small elephant and that, and I got a lot of response off the people. And then the next week
imagine.
I brought Remy and
We made a rosalka, a mermaid.
before you know it,
Was the elephant the first one?
The
there
little
the
baby
baby.
elephant.
I've made 2 baby elephants in Bulgaria in the
And
last
a big
year.
one.
And a full size one.
Because I remember the mermaid, so I suppose I remember the first one, the elephant.
Well, we've
Two.
won
We
a
had
couple of
3
mermaids.
mermaids. we
Three.
made.
Ah,
Yeah,
so
they're very
yeah, no,
popular.
maybe. But
The first one was in August.
Yeah.
August 2020.
uh-huh.
Yes.
So
How
it
long
was-
does it take to make this one?
Well, it took me about 4 hours to make
4
it.
hours. And you're coming here like earlier
I
in the
got the
morning?
train from Mihailovo. I got on the train. I got here in the morning. I got on the beach. No, I didn't say hello to anybody. No one said hello to me. And I just started working.
And you're bringing your, like,
I
all
got-
of your equipment?
All my equipment is a bucket and a spade. Just a bucket
his
and a
hands,
spade.
a simple tool.
So I use my hands. So I just started making sculptures, and then people started. I put my hat out and a little sign, like in Bulgarian, saying, thank you. And I made some coins. So I took my winnings home to the wife, and
Okay.
she said, "Okay."
So the next time I booked a hotel for the weekend, and we came for the whole weekend and made the mermaid. And then the next weekend we came back again. And now we're in a stage, we rented an apartment here. So we're here part-time. We travel between our apartment here and our farm in Mihailovo. And there is a train going from our village all the way to Burgas.
But so it's not just a house, but you call it a farm.
Yeah,
What are you raising there?
We got 2 sheep. We got a pig.
Really?
And we
Six
got
dogs.
6 like rescue dogs,
Yeah.
dogs that we
If
find.
anybody wants a very nice dog, we have 6.
6 rescue dogs that we pick up on on the side of the road when they're babies. So we've got 6 dogs. Yeah, we got
And
2 sheep that we
we-
saved, and
yeah.
also a pig that we saved.
We grow vegetables. Of course, we have like grapevines,
Trees.
walnut trees.
Apple, pear, everything.
Plum.
You know what? Everything.
Yeah.
We have everything. We've got 26,000 square meters of land.
So 2.5 dekar.
Yeah, we've got 2.5 decar of land.
Yeah, we bought the neighbor's house, so we have 2 houses, one for the workways, and we bought another house next to it, which was burnt. So that's basically a ruin. So we have a lot of land. Maybe a bit too much land.
Was it easy to acquire that? I mean, just like because of the law, is it easy for a foreigner to buy land?
Well, we've
Well,
got a company.
Yeah, when we bought it, you had to have a company. The company owns the land, but then they changed the rules later. So now a foreigner, I think it's EU, you can own land.
So we're Sandartist.
You're a small
owned,
corporation that's taking over Bulgaria bit by bit.
Yeah. And we do
slowly,
also
slowly.
do our sand sculptures through the company. So we have as a company definition tourism. It's very broad. You can do anything with that definition.
Okay. Well,
So we make money in America and pay taxes in
my
Bulgaria.
mind is
Yeah.
blown.
Yeah. So,
But what taxes? Wait,
well, we got a company.
Income
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah, income
So if
tax.
we have a job in America,
but that company doesn't have any income. You need it just to buy the house.
No,
It's
no,
like
we have
we,
income.
we,
It's-
run the company.
run the company
we
as
do
a
our
real
sand
company.
sculptures through the company.
So you're not just traveling.
No,
What was your job before that? I mean,
also sand sculpting. I did murals, paintings on the wall, for a bit. You did all sorts of jobs.
I've been through the steel industry, the building industry. I was a stonemason. I also worked in security, in nightclubs and things like that. So if you have been difficult in the nightclub, I might throw you out.
You should try in the radio. You have beautiful voice, deep, low voice.
I know his voice is great. Also we subscribed him, and then they took me as well by a modeling agency in Sofia, because there is a big movie industry there. And Paul was the star in the Mr. Bricolage reclame.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he got recognized on the street all the time.
I haven't seen that one, perhaps, but...
it's okay.
Sorry, but...
No, it's okay. You might have seen it, actually, if you watch Bulgarian TV. Yeah. It was all over it. It's just that I looked a bit different then.
I'm always skipping this with forward and backward, and I don't know. Perhaps I've seen it. I don't know. But do you have some movies?
Yeah, we are working on a movie, actually, a production in Bulgaria from an Irish writer. It's called Mosquitoes Don't Drink Rakia. Mosquito...
Комарите не пият ракия.
That one. Yeah. And we've been... but we're still working on that, or he's still...
it's not out yet.
No, well, there's bits of it out on the internet, but it's an Irish comedy and it's quite funny.
When can we expect that?
Well, you can, like I say, you can see bits of it. There's just been a bit of delay in production for a while, but so we keep ourselves busy with whatever it takes. If it's interesting to us and we enjoy ourselves, we do it. So when our friends say, are you up for some acting or some modelling? Yeah, we do whatever it takes, as long as we're having fun.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're having fun with so many different things, so you're always keeping busy.
Isn't that the secret to life? You just got to keep enjoying yourself, haven't you? Keep it going, keep positive, keep thinking, keep dreaming your dream. No one's going to dream your dream for you, so, I go for it. Like, if I have any doubt in something, if I don't think I can do something, then I only double down and try harder. Because none of this is easy. When we're making sculptures, people think, oh, he's been 30 years doing it. Remi's been 25 years doing it. It must be easy.
No, I don't think so.
Every time we struggle. So I think in the struggle, we grow. And if we love what we do, if you love what you do in your struggle, you will grow. And, your art form or your craft, it will grow with you. That's our experience.
When something looks easy to me, I always assume, the first thing I learn to assume, that this thing is hard and this person is so good at it and he's making it look easy. So he's such a professional in it. It's not because it's easy. Nothing's easy if you don't put the work in it and
if it's easy, you're not
struggle
doing it
enough.
And on Burgas Beach, for example, so we would come when the sun rises, in the summer anyway, and then he starts carrying water. Buckets of water from the sea, and we start shoveling, and then we start compacting, wetting the sand, compacting, building it up, and we have to. We try to have something showing by 1 o'clock, because then, we're doing it for donations. So we have something to show. People like to see your work, but they also like to see something finished. Otherwise, they don't give yet. They might come back later.
They do now, don't they? They see our faces now when they give us.
Yeah, we have now people. We got fans. So there's, for example, one elderly couple, and they're always the first one to come by and the first one to give us some money for coffee.
You should have some Patreon or some other way, because I'm like, every time I was like, I'm running, I'm not keeping money in there. And I was like, I don't want to say hi now this time.
No, really, it's not about money.
I'm sure no one is doing it this for the salary, because... No. This is such a strange and different way of thinking. I don't know how does a person that does the person that is doing this, what is in his mind?
The thing is with everything we need.
Sometimes I'm like running the other day, and it's a beautiful thing. You've done something amazing. You put the work, you put your soul in it, and it's like someone ruined it, and I'm like.
Yeah, it's temporary art.
It's not real, actually. It's all a big illusion. We do it with our hands. It's all fake news. We just make it, and that it's not about the sand. It's about the creation. Sand's just a metaphor. we have an exhibition. We do something with the medium, the sand, and people stop in their tracks and they look at it. But the next day the sand's gone again. It's just sand. So the imagery that they've seen and that lot, that's not really real. It's just for the moment. It's like eating a meal. It's like singing a song. That's what it's really about. And the reason why I think we're resonating with people is because everybody's fed up of things being so, so not ephemeral. It's everything has a cost. Everything, everything's plastic from China, or, the way that society's run now. It's all about consumerism and throw away and stuff like that and waste. Well, what we do is we make our sculptures and that lot, and then when we've finished and we go home, the sculpture's just the beach again. No damage done to the environment.
It's just the sand of the beach and just the water of the sea. That's all we use.
We don't put any glue on it or any clay in it or anything like that. Sometimes a little bit of blood, a little bit of sweat, and sometimes a few tears.
Not many, though.
But it's about it's like a happening. It's about coming together of people. The sand's only a metaphor to stop people. It's the catalyst that allows us to talk to people, because that's what we're here for. When we came here in the pandemic, like I said, people didn't have anything to do. There was nothing to see anywhere. You couldn't get a drink. You couldn't sit with your family. You couldn't sit with your friends. So once we was the only show in town.
Yeah.
We were the only show in town.
I remember like a year ago, there was a time that it was forbidden to be in the sea garden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so strange.
Yeah, that was
such a strange
we started
times.
After that. But that was the extremist.
The only way that
close the park of it. That's the healthiest place to be for people.
They were closing the park. Outside. They were taking the benches. It was forbidden. I was running alone with a mask. Alone, and the police escort me out of the sea garden like I was a criminal.
It's not nice.
Yes, I don't know how to describe it.
So we was in pain because we couldn't create. We was in pain because there was no. We was being creative, but maybe cerebrally or thinking or designing, but we wasn't creating for people, and that's. Yeah,
we like to share it. I mean, it's part of the experience that people give feedback. If a child comes up and goes, "Wow," that is, it does something with your heart.
So it's so strange because for you it's just sand. For you it's the emotion of the people, but from the people's eye, like myself, it's like. Why are you doing it? Someone will enjoy it, someone will cry about it, someone will destroy it. And you're leaving such an expression to the people, because I'll think about it. Like I will think about it like this. What kind of people are putting their souls in it? Like for maybe nothing, maybe for everything, maybe for the people's souls. I don't know. I have to meet these people, and I will beg them to show me why. Why? Because you're giving your life here. It's not like your hometown. It's not your home country. Someone will like look at you. What are you doing here? Someone else will be astonished as me. I don't know. I'm trying to understand, because what kind of philosophy is that you're saying that this is just a sand?
The thing is now,
is that Christianity? Is that Buddhism?
Well, it's if you go to Christianity, Buddhism, Zoroastrian, all of them, if you take them all back, there's a source where it comes from. They're all different paths to the same source. But personally, I see today in art, in commercialism, in everything we see, everything that you see that's beautiful, it's all designed to attract you, and so that you can buy a piece, you can own a piece. We all want the latest phone, the latest this, the latest that. And I find that philosophy, that feeling flawed, because it doesn't satisfy you in the least. You get it and then you've got a quick dopamine rush and that's it. But real stuff, when you get down and you do things with the earth, when you do things that are natural, not for yourself, but for everyone, for the good of everyone. So I'm not trying to sell anybody a sand sculpture. I'm not trying to sell a photograph. I'm not trying to sell anything. All we're trying to do is we're just trying to just put some images out there that are going to affect in a positive way. Because like I said, everything's been directed at us. We've got the whole social media and media. It's all down on us, and it's like hammering down on us, trying to sell us this idea, that idea, trying to put us into this club or that club. But for me, art is about, it's about opening this, because I see people walking with all these things in their minds, and then all of a sudden they say, wow,
takes them out of their normal...
What's that?
Yeah, the problems and the...
Just for a moment.
Yeah.
So it's really important that the imagery that we're putting out there resonates on the right frequency. That's why you see a lot of things like we do angels, we do babies, we do some religious iconography. Why? Because we know that that is going to stop people and make people think. If you see a baby, you're not going to worry about a pandemic and everybody dying. You're going to think of new life.
New life, yes.
You're going to think of tomorrow. If you see an angel, you're going to think of the higher energies that also interact with this realm, this world that we live on. Not just the noise of social media and opinion, because nowadays everyone's got an opinion. And if you want to upset somebody on the internet, just have an opinion. Doesn't matter what it's about. Somebody will get offended. So we just try and just start a new balance, put some more balance in it with something that's free. You know, you don't got to pay to feel that.
And you see whole families enjoying it and spending some time with us and the sculpture for a bit and enjoying the moment. It's free, and those kids will never forget it. They saw something, you know, the beach was shaped into a big face or an elephant. Or
yeah, I don't think so. I hope they don't remember. I hope I don't forget it one day. It would be a strange thing, but the memory, you know. How long do you prepare for it? Because you're always doing some of the sun sculptures are like based on the holiday or.
Yeah, we try to, because in Bulgaria there are so many cool rituals and meaningful days, and we tune into it a bit. So we had the Shiran for the what the people ate on St. Nicholas the day, and the 6th.
The 6th. Oh yeah, sorry, 6th of December. You were, so you knew like a week earlier, or
no? This was actually last minute, because I wanted to make like the bishop, St. Nicholas, but then we found out that everybody was eating the fish, and that was actually more of a symbol also to do with Burgas, like the fish and the sea connection. So
the fish is
that's
a lot of symbolism.
when we did that. But then I found out it's the carp, which is not typically a saltwater fish; it's a sweetwater fish. Yeah. But I decided to make the carp because that was what everybody was recognizing.
And I told you to make the carp.
Yeah. And with the
when then I met you on the 6th, or it was on the 5th, I don't remember, but when you were doing this the Sharan and
I think we had three sculptures going. Three or four.
It was when it gets colder, then it's a good way to keep warm. Just keep creating sand sculptures.
Keep shoveling and bringing water, buckets of water.
And actually, we had one sculpture that made it from the weekend before, or we could repair it easily. The cat we had, and we had the face.
Some hippos at one point.
Anyway, so the people have been actually very respectful of our sculptures, and they're hardly touched. It's not like in England, for example, where they like to jump on it. Here,
really?
They really enjoy the art, and they leave it for others. So the respect is enormous. Sometimes a cat or a dog at a little
a lot of cats.
But we can easily repair that. So when you met us, I think we had 3 or maybe 4 sculptures. So the day after I had 4. That was because the other sculptures we could be saved, and then we can build it up. So every day we come there and we see what we have, and if it's still there, then we can create a new one.
And we repair a little bit. Yeah. You know, we just got to keep this. The trick is we just got to keep them wet all the time. Yeah. So people see us spraying water on them.
That's easier in the winter too. In the summer it dries out more.
Because it's the sun and the wind that destroys our work. People think rain, but actually we like rain.
I thought heavy rain will destroy it.
No, it needs rain. Maybe it gives a little bit of a texture. But that can look nice as well, the texture.
And this is beach sculpture, of course, and this is like the first discipline of sand sculpture. Basically, you've got a couple of different disciplines. You've got this is called hand stack, soft pack, But in the higher echelons of sand sculpture, you'll see what they do at the theme park, and they use wood and compacting the sand with
different sands
machines,
as well.
so we
River
can go
sand.
up. Well, it's river sand.
It should be like finer.
It's not necessarily finer. It's about the shape. It's about the shape of the particles of sand. It's about how much clay content in it. There's so many different variables involved. A master sand sculptor, a real master sand sculptor, can work with any sand, and they will know what it is, what can be done with the sand just by holding a handful of it, because it's not all good to put the big stuff up in the sky. The sand on the beach is very nice for delicate work like what we're doing, but it would be no good to try and stack it up, because the particles are rounded because of the way that the sea comes in and washes the particles of sand. It makes them round, so that they have a tendency to want to be flat.
They don't stack very well. Round shapes.
Unless you use a lot of water. That's what the water's for. The water kind of holds it together with some kind of an ionic bond. So
that's why in Burgas we present our sculptures flat on the beach, and people look at it slightly from above.
We designed them for this, the field of view.
Yeah, field of view.
So it's perfect for photography. That's why we are, we didn't just turn up at this spot and then start working. We had to come and look and see where there was a good place to build, because you might be able to build a good sculpture, but can the people take a really nice photograph? And can you also get the pier in the background? We want people to know that it's Burgas.
And it's really perfect spot. I mean, it's good.
Yeah,
it's a good
I
spot.
searched for it
And also the lantern post, the light in
lamp,
the evening, the
lamp.
They shine towards the beach, and it's the only 4 lights that shine towards the beach instead of away from the beach.
Really?
I
should check this.
Yeah.
I'm always running in the morning, and I haven't seen this, but I'll definitely check this out. I haven't noticed that.
Yeah.
So you're thinking about everything.
Everything is thought about.
The kind of sand, the scenery,
the location, the backdrop, the light, where the sun's rise. Everything is a variable that can be used in. We know that at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, for instance, that this sculpture will be great to photograph because of where the light is and that, and the shadows. So that a lot goes into it.
A little bit in the back.
Yeah, it's like anything you do. The more and more you do it, we've been doing this 30 years, and the more you do it, it's like you get caught out sometimes. That's how we learn, when we make little mistakes, when we miss things.
Oh, this is how you learn.
This is how we learn.
Yeah.
Sometimes we make sculptures and maybe we make the bigger sculptures when we've done events, and sometimes they collapse or something drops off, and then you have to recover, and then you have to adapt and adjust your design
quickly, just before the event.
Well, I've had a collapse. I had a big orangutan I built in Texas, and like 20 minutes before the end of the competition,
oh my
God!
Fell off.
But I rebuilt it. It took me 2 hours to do that arm, but I rebuilt it in 20 minutes. So
because of the adrenaline, you can then do it much faster. And you already practiced before the collapse, so you can find it much quicker. Yeah.
You're becoming orangutan yourself and just faster.
We do a lot of orangutans. We do a lot of
monkeys.
We do a lot of like apes and big animals, like you've seen. We do a lot of elephants and lions. We like to do things. A lot of the sculptures that you see online, they're all like cartoon. Or in America, when we do the competitions, because of the way that they used to do the judging. You got points for a building, you got points for a face, you got points for this technique.
Architecture.
So you would get jumbles of sculptures, there's like 10 Mickey Mouses drinking beer, playing on a Christmas tree with a bear to try and get all the points. But that's not what we do. We try and create things that look more realistic. So I'm happy when people walk by and say, "Mummy, there's a real elephant." Or there's a bear, not, "Oh, Mummy, look at the bear drinking the beer on the Christmas tree," because that doesn't really work for me.
For sure, every artist has its thing.
Yeah.
But I suppose that they're doing this Mickey Mouse stuff because this is like, it's for children. And that's why they're always doing the Disney stuff.
That used to be the case. Actually, now, to be fair in that lot, most of our colleagues in the North America, it's gone very arty. When the Europeans went in about 15 years ago, it was all Mickey Mouse, and it was
15 years ago.
It was all Mickey Mouse, and it was all like castles. It was a castle. You had to, if you wanted to win the prize, you built a castle because it was the sand castle. But we're not really into castles, we do some castles for clients, but we want to build something that's...
Your expression was like, castle.
Well, no, a castle, it is nice, but you can get really into a castle from, little door, you can go out of the door and down the stairs, and then they can look out of the window, but yeah, and I like more to do faces. I'm really happy when I make faces or animals. Then I get into the flow, the state of creation that's,
Something I seen in Reddit, it is sometimes a face, but it like the vertical parts are straight walls. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, yeah.
Is it a new technique or?
No, it's just, it's called hard pack, and what we do is we compact the sand in the boxes again, and we put the sand under so much pressure.
It's what they use at the Burgas Sand Festival.
Hard pack. You won't be able to Google it because it's like an inside. If you look at Sandartist.com, our site, you can see the differences between hard pack and soft pack. It's all about, sandstone is created with layers of sand for years and years, get rained on and get pressured on, and eventually it turns hard and solid to create limestone or sandstone. Well, it's the same thing with what we do with the sand. We use sand, layers of sand and water, and we build up layers and we compact it. We put it under pressure.
Perhaps I cannot, maybe I don't know how to explain it because... it's a shape, but as soon as you hit a vertical part, it's like straight.
Yeah, I know the sculpture that you're talking about. Yeah, I know the sculpture.
You need different sand. You cannot do this with bead
sand.
sand.
Because it's a tall structure.
Yes.
Like you explained,
Maybe the sand that they use at the Burgas Sand Festival.
Well, that's actually
at the Sand Festival, they are doing only Mickey Mouse and castles.
Yeah, well, it's not really sand. It's more like clay. That's the stuff that they use for making concrete. If you look at it, that we have a way of.
Really?
It.
It's not like.
Well, it's look at it.
Clear
it's
sand.
Like it's all stones.
It's a bit dirt.
Lots of clay.
With this sand.
And I suppose they're putting some glue on top of it.
Yeah. Once it's finished, but that's just to keep it. The problem. It doesn't hold it up.
The problem with that is that the sand is so crappy. They've got really shitty sand, and it just doesn't look very nice. No, seriously, it doesn't look very nice.
Like
and when we have a very specific way of doing this, and what we do is we take the sand, we wet it, we compact it up and that lot, and then we take the forms off, and then we sculpt it very quickly over 2 or 3 days. But for some reason here, they let it go rock hard, and then they try and clink, 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 clink. So it's like stone. So
it's
and I'm
like
imagining how can it be like 3 months there and you cannot even break it to shape it.
You can do it like that, but it's for me. It's got to be beautiful. Respect to the guys. I really felt for them. There's some very talented sculptors in Bulgaria doing it, but they've got it. It's not easy for them to do good stuff because of the way that it's set up there. It's not been done properly. In my opinion, as someone that's been doing this for 30 years and worked on over 25 international sand
where should it be done? On the beach or?
No, it's not that it should be done anyway. It's when you're doing it, if you want to do the thing and you make the theme park in 10 days, there's this very specific way that you pound the sand up and you sculpt it down.
You keep it wet, then you carve
got to be wet.
And then once you finish, then you let it dry out.
You don't let it dry out and then sculpt it.
Because then it's more like stone carving.
It's like that's why it doesn't look so good as it did when the internationals were coming. Because our colleagues, they know very well how to do this, but they're international recognised masters, and I don't want to put anyone down. I'm not knocking anybody; they do a great job, but they've got it set up against them.
The artists that they have are now stone carvers.
Yeah, they're stone carvers.
They're not trained sand sculptors. They're artists and sculptors, but not necessarily trained that much in the sand medium.
So I'm talking to a guy today from Egypt because we're doing a job in Egypt. We're helping the guy and some American friends organise a job in Egypt, and we're chatting through the day. And the first thing I say to him is, the sand has got to be right. If the sand isn't right, you're not going to be able to do it, because not everybody can use any sand. So every beach we go to, the sand is different. Every country, the sand is different. Some sand is good, some sand is bad, some sand is like, it's okay. But you've got to know how far you can push the sand. So it's, we call it sandology in that lot. You won't believe it. Some of the jobs we've worked on, we worked on jobs in Belgium that were €1 million sculptures. There was 50 sculptors working on it. So you have to know that the sand is perfect. It's going to have to stand there for 3 months and that. So it's very important that you understand that the nature of the sand is...
What does it look like, a sculpture for $1 million?
It looks like 60 feet up in the air.
Like
What?
A world where you walk in and everywhere you look is a sculpture.
Like this...
Like you're that create a world around you.
Like the sculpture part you've got here, but
sculpture.
50 times bigger.
Yes.
We did one in China.
And not
but
one
higher
sculpture here,
and
one
like
sculpture.
wider.
Yes, there is
and
around you.
50 times bigger. We did one in China that would take you an hour just to walk around the site. We had sculptures 60 feet high. We did the biggest sand sculpture.
The whole story being told.
But this 60 feet is like what?
19 meters.
19 meters?
And that was when I met Remy. That was in 2003 in Belgium, and I was working on a huge, 19 meters high.
But you have scaffolding and you have like what? How
So
can you
again,
do it?
boxes,
The sand is compacted
Okay,
in these
okay,
boxes.
okay.
sand in the boxes, smaller box, sand in that, smaller box, sand in that, smaller box. Then you get to the top and you take the first box off, you sculpt.
Start
then the
sculpting
second
while
box.
standing on the bottom
So the
boxes.
boxes
and then
are
you
about-
take the next
Are you
one off.
on the boxes?
Yes,
Yeah.
and then you work your way down.
And you're like with
No.
some protection?
No.
Come on, but something
No.
soft on the ground if
No.
you fell down?
Sand,
No,
well,
this is
you always
hardcore.
look from where you're going to jump if you fall.
Seriously,
Come on, I didn't think this is such a dangerous profession.
can be. Yeah, it can be
if
dangerous.
You're up on the mountain. On the
I
high
did
mountain.
3 weeks on that sculpture. It was a big sculpture of the South American gods, and there was a giant snake god, and there was the, Montezuma, whatever his name is. Anyway, all these giant gods and that lot. And 3 weeks we was carving it with an international crew, and it was the scariest thing I've ever done. I'm not really scared of heights, or I'm not really scared of falling, but just
Yeah,
To
no,
be
20
alert all
meters.
the time.
but
You have
just
to be-
being
yeah.
there constantly. there
And
was,
climb up and down, which is physically very, And then
Yeah.
you stand like on a ledge because these boxes, you just have like a,
Yeah, this is
And
exactly
you're-
how I imagine it.
Yeah,
You're
and
telling me
you're-
on the
you're
box, you
balancing
cannot
on-
stand on the
yes.
sand. You're
No.
carving the
Yeah.
sand
Yeah.
and you're
Yes.
standing on the...
I know.
It's not easy, and we don't really go in for that much now. There's, they've just done the biggest one in the world. I think it was 90 feet high, about 23 meters, and that was done in Denmark by some colleagues of ours just recently. And you see the guy. I was really happy because it was really safe
supported.
angle. So, but we have seen them where our friends have made them 60 feet high, and they collapse, and then babies come down like an avalanche.
The
They'll-
footage was amazing of the collapse.
if you're on that baby when it
But
comes
the
down,
record was gone.
people say, "Oh, what happens if it drops on you?" And I say, "Just take a little child's bucket, just a little bucket, fill it with sand, and drop it on your foot."
It's heavy.
No, you'll be covered.
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah, this
so
is a
heavy,
mountain
yeah.
going
Yeah,
over
yeah,
you
yeah,
20
yeah,
meters.
Oh, you're gone. Yeah.
So it's,
No, luckily, nobody in our profession ever
we're very careful.
seriously got
Seriously?
injured or killed. So that's good. We're doing good so far, but we're very aware.
Yeah,
and
you
you
should
keep
be
an
very
eye on each
careful with
other
that.
as well. Like,
I didn't know. I was like, I don't know, 2-3 meters, but come on.
No,
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 these are the
God.
high ones.
we've done, like I said, the biggest.
But
one's
these high
20
ones, you
meters.
should be looking them from like 50 meters away, so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can
People-
comprehend
people
this
are looking
thing.
up at them, yeah.
Looking up?
You're looking up at them.
Yeah.
So when we used to do the ones in Belgium and that, they were the big ones in Blankenberg like 15 years ago. We would get 300,000 people in the summer months coming to see them. People would travel from around Europe just to come and see them. It was spectacular beyond anything that you've seen. We've never been able to make big sculpture parks like that again. Not just due to the restrictions of the COVID and things like that, but just down to the fact that it can be so dangerous and so costly if you want an event and you want to do the biggest sand sculpture in the world, which can get you a lot of publicity, get you in all the right books and things, but it's so dangerous, because it's a pile of sand at the end of the day.
Yeah, I suppose.
And insurers are not really keen on it.
I don't think insurers don't really know what
to
we're doing.
to be honest, I don't mind not doing really big.
They don't know, or
sculptures.
they're like, I
Well,
don't
they
want
don't know
to.
how
I
the
don't
pro-
want
how
with
the
you guys.
process
No,
works.
go away from me. No one, none of us get hurt. No, I don't
No,
want
it's
any
fine.
of
Well,
you.
they
Just
used to say to us, we can put hooks on you and then hook you onto it.
It would
And
make
we're
it more
like-
dangerous because then you would slam into the wood. Probably.
You know, one guy from Mexico, well, he's Spanish.
Anyways, you won't fall 20 meters. You'll be like a meter too.
Yeah. We had one guy from Mexico, and he was up there with me in that lot, and I said to him in Spanish, muy peligroso aquí. It's very dangerous here, because I felt that it wasn't safe. I just felt it, because it was so much sand and it was so high. And he was a master, and he was like, oh, don't worry, Paul, I'm okay, don't worry. And then within 2 minutes, I heard a rumble, and a piece of sand, 200 pounds of sand, hit him on his shoulder, and he spun on one foot on the ledge, and I caught him with one arm just before he went down. And that guy never got back on the sand for 3 days. He had like
his
PTSD.
Pupils were
Oh my God!
Wow.
So it can be
3 days is okay.
He was like so freaked
was
out
not
because he
going.
saw his life. But luckily he came back with power, and then he created a giant Jesus sculpture. Well, I think he saw Jesus. He saw God. He saw someone.
He saw you. He
Well,
owe you.
I've been his friend ever since.
Yeah, I suppose. He owes his life to you, you know.
So, yeah, it's people think sand. You know, they see us on the beach, and they don't realise how crazy we are, actually. How far we will go.
Yeah, on the beach here we do gentle stuff. This is like small, manageable sculptures for us.
We went to Tehran in Iran, and
With all of these stories, sorry to interrupt you. With all of these stories, I was like, the next time I see this Sharan, I'll be like, give me 20 meters, guys. Give me the real stuff.
Well, we would love to give you 20 meters and that lot.
It will take us a while. So what we do on the beach, that is 1 day sculpture, or sometimes half a day. We make it. But can you imagine what we can make when we spend 3 weeks on a sculpture?
With a machine?
And it's like big and beautiful.
What kind of machines?
You know, like a machine to move the sand, so I don't have to do it.
Yeah, but
for the build up,
So-
to fill up the boxes.
Like they're filling.
Yeah.
We still have to carve it by hand once.
So
we
in
take
Tehran,
Is there some kind of special equipment to carve it, or just
a wheelbarrow? You need a wheelbarrow, good strong man, shovels and that lot, and knives and forks.
Diggers
if you have it. But in Tehran,
compactors, like street workers.
we had 6 weeks in Tehran. to
But no
create
one is
200
vibrating the
tons.
sand
Yes,
on the
but-
formwork.
Me.
So, no, just okay. That's all.
Seriously, when we was in Iran,
But you had Pakistani helpers.
I didn't have Pakistani helpers. I had Afghanistan helpers,
sorry.
and they were the guys.
Oh,
that
we
were
will
pushing-
be cancelled so quickly.
they were actually working the wheelbarrows, and these guys had to go 500 yards with a wheelbarrow, and they moved 300 tons of sand, and then we compacted
200
it.
tons.
300.
How many
tons.
people?
There were 6 of them from Afghanistan,
It
and
was
they were
weeks.
pushing the sand
Weeks of
uphill.
moving sand.
These guys were so
Yeah.
strong after that.
Because
6
we
weeks.
couldn't take a machine in there because it was a
Guys
bird,
like this
bird
build the
sanctuary
pyramids.
garden,
Pyramids,
and it was
interesting.
on a slope, so there was no paths.
They used a very similar technique to us with the pyramids. If you look into the pyramids and that, and you look at each line and that lot, it looks like they've been poured. So it looks like a geopolymer concrete. And if you Google geopolymer concrete and the pyramids, there's a movie that's been made called the movie's called K or something, The Great Pyramid, and it's all about how scientists are now looking at it, thinking that the pyramids were actually poured. So it was made out of concrete, not stones dragged. I don't know, but it was a very fascinating documentary, and they used exactly the same techniques that we use in creating big sculptures. But instead of using sand, they were using the geopolymer concrete, which is made from the materials that is on the Giza Plateau. So anyway, that's...
How are they? What ingredients is there in this? This some
basically the
lost
stuff
technology, or
Crushed
this is
stone, or
It's
like
the stones and that. It's like the sand, but because the lime that's there, they could create this concrete called geopolymer concrete. It's very interesting. And there's some signs in the pyramids where it shows you that some of the blocks have got pieces of wood that are in there, and you can see that they're in, like it's been put in when it's been wet. And like I said, the main thing is the actual line. When you look at the lines, they're all different sized stones and that.
Yeah.
The lines are all... and they're all 1 meter high. So that's how we do it. We pour wet sand in, we let it settle, we compact it, and then we build up. So I'm not saying that that's how it's done. But when you look at it, it's a lot more. It makes a lot more sense than like 20,000 people dragging stones like.
Like some of these stones are like 500 tons.
Yeah, you know. And
they use the lens to create a lot of heat, right? So
I'll send you a link to the movie. It's a very interesting movie.
So many ideas, and we actually don't know some of it.
You know, with our sand art, we know that we go back into Indian mythology and that lot. And if you go back to the 14th century, there's a guy called Ram Dass, one of the famous poets, and he's writing stories about sand sculpting. We know that if you're going to train a sculptor, if you're going to train someone to be a sculptor and you want to train them to sculpt faces, you want to try and train them in stone, good luck with that. It takes years, you know what I mean? Yeah. So you train people to do stuff in sand. It's easy. It's a no-brainer. What is it?
Very accessible
sand,
medium.
Water, we all do that, and you go, oh, children do it, or we dribble it. It's a normal reaction to play with wet sand, and once you've got it wet, you know you've got a medium. You know you can do something with it. You know, children all do it. We all do it. So it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, but it's so fragile. The stone, you can have mistakes, not so like crush the whole sand structure. Like.
So if you're making a stone sculpture, for instance, you've not just got to learn form. You've got to learn tools and things like that. Like, especially if you can learn your form. Because if you know how to construct a face or a body or an animal, if you know how to do that, if you know where the muscles are, it doesn't matter what the medium is. It can be a pile of, it can be a big block of Maslow or butter. Or, it doesn't matter. It's about the form. If you can see the form inside, it doesn't matter about the material. The material's secondary, really. You know, we work with sand because it's difficult. Because with sand, if we're going to do a figure, for instance, you can't do this because this is going to collapse. It's sand.
The
so
gravity will pull it.
So this is how you learn how to sculpt and that lot. In sand, we learn that to support things. So.
Yeah, always imagine it. You should always do something. Everything should support everything else in some way. Not like there are some small stuff that are below, but that's not very often.
You can do a little nose. You can do, but under the chin you cannot.
We call it
so
undercuts.
You do like with hair or a hand or a beard. Beard's very good. Scarf, pose, over the shoulder.
Again, it all depends on the sand. Certain sands in the world, if you go, for instance, to the Americas, they've got something called Pre-Glacial Sand, and that was made when the 13,000 years ago, when the glacier was shrinking from the North American continent. Underneath that, the sand that was made by that retreat of the things called pre-glacial. It was there before the glaciers were formed, and it's got a nice clay content, and they're also sharp pieces of sand. So when we use this sand, we compact that. We can make them babies stand 10 feet up in the sky and be pretty,
we make
pretty.
Holes knit cut throughs. We call them like arches.
We can make that stuff look like stone because it's, but it is still sand. If you push it, it'll fall over. If you let it dry out, it'll collapse. But we can make it quick enough so it looks. But I think that's the best sand in the world. The pre-glacial sand for
is it quartz or what is it?
No, it's I don't know what it is. It's a mix of everything, actually.
But it's not like crushed seashells.
No, it's more like it's more like the crushed the mountains once the glacial went. It kind of is. I think it's like granite. It's got like a granite. It's got lots of things in it though. Lots of different minerals. Also, granite sand is also good for sculpting. They call it granite sand, and that's the stuff that's left after granite. If you've been cutting granite around granite, you've got well sand that comes out of the ground.
Have you tried some other medium like wood, stone?
Yeah, I sculpted in ice. I sculpted in snow, wood.
Snow. I suppose it's a little bit closer to the sun than stone.
It's too cold for me.
Snow, it sticks, so you can go a bit to the side. That is nice.
Yeah.
And with ice, when you leave a big enough block on the bottom as a contraweight, you can go like really. You can.
Yes, ice is more like stone.
Yeah.
But
like-
with ice, you need to have either a very cold climate or you need a big
Freezer.
refrigerator. And
It's
who
really
wants
hard
to
to
work,
work
in
in
a,
a
who wants to
freezer,
work
yeah.
in a refrigerator? Not
You,
me.
why not?
I want to work on the beach.
You like
dude.
hot
With
weather?
those machines all day long. That's
That's
no,
work. I like
yeah.
to be on the beach doing.
Yeah, and with this, what's that, like, the cutting wood machine,
Yeah. Things.
you can carve...
But it's like again
takes
with
much
that
longer time
we
to-
leave something.
Uh-huh.
create
You know.
wood or stone.
Ah,
In sand
yeah.
sculpture, well, you see how fast we are. We can create something within half a day.
If we use if we work in any medium, we need tools.
Mhm.
If we work in sand, I got my tools right here. That's the difference. And if we're working in chainsaws and that, like we're using machines, we're using pet
It's
roller.
harder, you're like obligated to take everything and not just like take the train and take a bucket and some small tools and go with it. How did you choose Bulgaria
Bulgaria chose
in the
us.
first place?
It chose us.
What does that mean?
Well, we was travelling. We've been travelling for years. Like I said, we've been on tour, and then I was looking for somewhere to put down a route, somewhere so that we could have our place, because we'd been nomadic. We was living half the year in India, and the other half of the year we was travelling and staying in Holland, building our sand sculptures. And then in 1 week, two good friends of mine both sent me emails saying, "Have you heard about Bulgaria? Bulgaria's opening up, and apparently it's really
It
cool
was
over there."
2007 when
We
Bulgaria,
were just invited in the European Union.
Yeah, so the
accepted.
rules changed,
Yeah.
and we could legally live here.
But we didn't
and
know
buy
that,
a
did
house
we?
here.
We didn't know that we could.
No, but your friends.
You didn't know Bulgaria?
Well, no, I
No.
didn't know.
Yeah.
We
I
only knew
I
Bulgarian yoga.
I knew Spartacus was born here, and of course, like
Yeah.
the Herculean. Like
It was for
wars
us when
and-
we grew up. It was behind the Iron Curtain.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Greece. I know more about Greece than Bulgaria. It felt very far away, almost Russia.
Anyway, we just.
I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
We
It's
just
not like...
turned up here like a week after it. We decided like we were going to go to Europe, so we said, "Oh, let's go to Bulgaria and at least have a look."
And these friends of yours, they were like, how did they know Bulgaria?
Well, one of them was here. He was coming here because he'd read about it. He'd read about the fact that they were going to be opening up Bulgaria to, like, it was already opened up to tourism, but to people coming to live here and things like that. So, and he was saying that it might be a country where you can still be able to afford to buy property and to have an organic life, and you can grow your own food, and it was all these things that I remember from being a child in England. Because when I was a child, everybody grew vegetables. It was the same as it is in the village. My grandfather fed people. He fed not just his family with his growing. He fed other families and that, and people shared, and everybody knew each other. So for me, it sounded absolutely fantastic. And then when I got here, I fell in love with the place. And
Where is that in England?
I'm from the north. I'm from Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
In the north, yeah.
And it was like this?
It was like this. When I was born in 1965. So by the time 1970s come, we still had a lot of, we're a rich country, but it still had a lot of problems. A lot of the buildings were left over from the war and from the Industrial Revolution and that. There was, if you go to England now, everything's like newish and done. But back then it was still, it still needed improving. It still had things to do. But people grew their own vegetables.
Yeah.
Everywhere you could get fruit in the town, there was orchards everywhere. And then, of course, when the supermarket phenomenon started, which I remember, like in a time of decimalisation, around 72, I'd have been a 7-year-old boy at the time, and then they started like taking down all the apple
fruit trees that were in the street.
Because you can't sell people fruit in your supermarket, in your new magazine. You can't sell people fruit if they can take it off the trees.
That's so strange.
Yeah. Well,
because how many fruit will be on the street tree?
Again, it's this.
It's like in Greece, there you have some oranges and stuff, but if you need a kilo, you'll go like.
The social engineers of the time decided, that there's two types of people. There's the people that serve themselves and the people that will serve others. And a lot of the people that are in charge are self-serving people. They'll say anything they want, that you want to hear. They'll say, "I'm going to help you. I'm going to make your life better." But really, what they're saying is like, "I'm going to help myself," and that's really what they're saying. I think we all know that by now, don't we? when it comes to like the social engineers, the people that tell us what we should be doing. Anyone that tells you what to do.
Yeah, I have a little bit more faith than that. I'm a bit more like optimistic on the subject.
I'm not being pessimistic about it. This is just my experience now. I've seen it, and I saw that happen. You know, I mean, I can take you to my hometown now, and where the trees are not there anymore, where the places that were left to the community by entrepreneurs who are now housing places where they've been taken off the community, and money's been made. You know, I'm from England, mate.
Yeah.
You know, we know what it is. I remember when Margaret Thatcher said, "Get on your bikes and get out there," and that lot. And it doesn't matter, get out and work for yourself. And that kind of changed the attitude of the population. This Thatcherism, because people did get a little bit greedy. You know, but before that, people were okay. And I see it now in the village. When you're in the village in Bulgaria, people are okay. People are good, kind people. People are not thinking about money all day.
The villages here actually are so strange. They're like people are so different. Even I recognize this because I have like internet, and I'm living more in the big city and around YouTubers and Facebook people and influencers than in the village. And when I go to the village, sometimes I was like, oh, I kind of forgot that these people are like, they always try to help you. They're so like open-hearted, open-minded. They don't care about the stuff that's on the news, and
that's why we love the village in Bulgaria.
Real life.
That's why we live here.
And then a couple of your friends were telling you about Bulgaria. It's okay, you should check it out, and you decided to come and visit for a while.
With a little backpack, and 2 weeks later we bought a house.
In 2 weeks, how this happens in 2 weeks? You came here with a plane.
We came here with a plane, but the thing is about it is that we didn't really have the money for the house. But we had a client from America that wanted us to build an advertisement, a reclama for magazines. So I convinced them to do the job in Sozopol. So in Sozopol, 12 years ago, I built a sports car, a Formula One racing car on the beach in November.
It was an advertisement for SolidWorks.
It's computer software.
If you're not a sand sculptor, use SolidWorks.
If you're not
that was the slogan.
Yeah, I know
like
it.
Yeah.
So it was for SolidWorks, and so we didn't have the money for our house.
We had enough for the deposit, so we put the deposit down on the house, and then.
How did you find the house?
Oh, through an agency.
Some guy driving us around showing us broken down buildings, and then
he had a portfolio of
broken down buildings, and then he showed us one that wasn't broken down, and we didn't have the money. But like I say, I managed to talk this company into doing the sculpture in Bulgaria, and we had a team fly in from Sweden, the photographers. We brought in a friend from Canada, and on the beach in Sozopol over 5 days, we created a car. And this car paid for our house. It bought us our villa in the village. And we got the money on the very day, the last day of the month's deposit. So if it had been a day later, I would have lost my deposit and not got the house. So I knew that the powers that be wanted me to live in Bulgaria.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
And wow, with that car. So with that car, everything came together between you choosing the place and getting the work done and putting down the money on the last day.
It really was. And then we got into our house and that lot. And
we moved in, we didn't have any money left, so we lived with what they left us. So we slept in their old bed, and we used their old pechkita, their old fireplace.
But we really couldn't believe that because I don't trust banks very much, so I never thought I would have a mortgage. I would never get myself into like debt with a bank by borrowing money. So I thought, well, I'll never have a home. But then I come to Bulgaria, and everything was just yes.
Yeah, we just paid for it.
It just all happened, and we've got a beautiful house in the village, and we've got a lot of land, and we have a good life.
How are the neighbors?
The neighbors are fantastic.
They were very welcoming. The whole village was very, very welcoming.
And can you tell me something about them? They're like some old grandpa and grandma, or
there's you know our closest neighbour has just died actually.
He was 87 or
87, and the guy would, let me tell you, the guy would climb up his plum trees and take his plums well into his 80s. He was out with his magari doing his garden.
Were like work, man.
We just loved it because it's, for us, it wasn't like when we come to Bulgaria, it wasn't like just travelling in the third dimension. It was like time travel. Again, I was looking at old people that were doing the same things as my grandparents were doing.
Herding cows, I mean, herding sheep and goats. We still have people come by with the sheep and the goats, and the turkeys, they're herding their turkeys.
People grow their own, you know, we're vegetarians, but we don't judge other people for what they do, so we still admire that you've got your culture where you can grow a pig.
Yeah.
You know, you can do this. You can have chickens. You can't have chickens where I come from, or a pig. You know, it's illegal to have a pig.
It's illegal, right?
Well, yeah, you have to have licenses and all things like that for animals.
I think you do now here
I
too.
think you even need a license for a
Almost,
dog.
yeah.
In England, you need a license for a dog, or you used to do. Yeah,
Oh,
dog
okay.
license.
Oh, yeah,
isn't
you
it?
pay dog tax. Here they just show up.
Okay, 12 days until you bought the house, but how long until you find the village?
The village didn't take us very long. It was
third day.
well, the guy that was taking us there, Demo, a lovely man. He said to us, "And that look,
This is the broker guy.
Yes, yeah.
And
The agency.
He said, "Look," he said, "this house probably isn't for you because it's more than your budget, but it is." He said, "It's a gift for somebody," and I can remember.
Called it the podarek.
When we walked
That's
into
the word for gift. Yeah.
we walked into the garden, and it was just fruit and vegetables. It was like the Garden of Eden. It was everywhere, and to me, I just couldn't believe that we had the opportunity to be custodials of this land, because I used to think that we'd bought a house and we owned house and land. Now I realise that the house and land owns us.
Yes.
Because we have
a lot of work.
We have to work for it. It doesn't really work for us.
It overgrows so quickly.
Yeah, but this is like 2.5 acres. It's
I
not
know.
for
Our
two
sheep
people.
are doing great.
We
the
got
shit.
They're like lawnmowers.
Yeah,
They are
they're
lawnmowers.
just eating all day long. And the workaway people have really helped.
And we got a pig called Dave.
We're vegetarian.
Yeah, but what are you doing with Dave? How
Dave
old is he?
Dave is like 1.5, and he's as big as this table, and he's our friend.
Our best dog.
He's the best dog
Very
I've got.
cuddly. He's very social.
1.5. Wow, he was like, after the first Christmas, he was like, oof.
No, he knows. He thinks he knows. He has a
We're
free
his
life.
friends,
We have a big piece of land for him with a good ograd, a good fence around it, so he can't escape.
He moves with the sheep. They're a team, and they search the whole land for food. And Dave's nose digs up the earth, and then the sheep go behind.
The locals love him. At first they said, "Paul, no, please." They're going, "Nah." And I said, "It's a pig," and they're going, "Problem, no, go problema." And I'm saying, "No." And now they're all, "Hey, Dave, no
He likes to have his belly rubbed, but his belly's now really big.
Problem about what?
Well, they said that you're always going to have a problem with a pig because they're going to want to get out. They want to go in the village. But Dave doesn't want to. He's just happy.
You get to know, he get to know you guys, and he knows that he won't be like...
All I can say is a very happy pig, and he's going to have a good life, and no one's going to eat him, because when he does eventually die,
Not for now.
I'll bury him. I won't
What?
I'll bury him. Yeah.
We'll cry and we'll bury him.
I will cry.
I won't be crying, but I will. I won't be eating him neither. But each to their own. You know what I mean? If you want to eat things. But me personally, I try not to.
But animal products like milk and eggs and stuff.
I'll eat
cheese.
eggs.
And
cheese,
I eat fish as well.
Yeah.
I like fish.
So each to their own. It's just that for me personally, I'm 56, 57 this year. So
how long have you been vegetarian?
I've been a vegetarian since I was 17, so 40 years. Oh, a long time.
But the gorillas and elephants are also vegetarians, so
Yeah, horses.
you know, like
Yeah,
strong man.
Yeah, he's been bouncer, so
Magari.
carrying all that sand.
Yeah.
I believe you. I know there are like some fighters there, like mountain climbers. Everyone has some. It doesn't matter.
You can get your protein out of
Well, it's not
broccoli,
just about
for
protein.
example.
Your energy, of course, you know, the Indians talk about pranic energy, and we believe now in modern science that we take this energy from the food. But if you go back to ancient sciences, they'll also tell you, yes, you take it from the food, but you also take it from, most of it you take from your breathing, actually. If you breathe right, you know, real breathing, not mouth breathing, nose breathing. If you breathe properly, you get more energy from this. Also through your eyes, and also, most importantly, from what you're thinking. If you're thinking right and you're thinking positive and that, like, if you're eating something and you're giving thanks for it, like that's why they used to bless food. If you're giving thanks for your food and that lot, and you're thinking the right things, you're going to get more energy and more sustenance. Whether it's
but that is the like basic stuff. You learn to be grateful for the smallest thing, even the bite that you're taking.
Yeah, we do the same thing when we're doing
that makes
sculpture.
you positive. That makes you like appreciate life in the basics.
When we start making, we always give a little bit, whether it be a
Otherwise, it
little bit
will take. This is our experience.
We give it a moment, a thought. So what we're doing.
And when you're giving, you're taking.
So we discovered, especially when we use like the wooden forms and stuff, and if we don't pay respect to the sculpture
consciously,
then it will take blood or tears or bodily fluids. So if when we start, we give a little bit, then it doesn't need to take. That is our little ritual, what we do with sand sculpting.
Also, there is like deep religion thinking about this stuff.
Absolutely.
Like there should be balance in this.
It's a connection that we have. You know, if you're connected to your work on that level, then you better consciously be aware of it. Because we would find that we'd go to certain jobs and we'd rush in, and then I would break a toe.
Break a toe.
Break a toe.
Oh,
I've broken lots of toes making sand.
Wow, how?
Just
why? How?
Just when we're doing it with the wood,
thing.
you know, if we're doing the forms in the boxes, if I'm doing a big box form, and if you're working with wood and hammers and nails and machines, it's like
normally dropping something.
I'm always breaking something.
Like a heavy wooden form that just hits your toe in the wrong.
So that's why I love being on the beach in Burgas, because all I've got to worry about is the odd little kiddie or the dogs or the cats. I ain't got to worry about hurting myself too much.
So many cats. Have you seen so much cats anywhere else?
No, I love it.
It's amazing. It's the city of
It's
cats.
amazing.
That's why we started building big cats as well.
So many cats.
I think it was our big cats that was the first sculpture that we made in Burgas that went viral. And we were getting emails from all over the world, people that had seen our big cats. And that was all Remi's idea. Normally I'm the ideas man, I come up with the ideas. But
there were all these cats around, so it was quite obvious. But I wanted to make them smaller, but he said, no, we do it big cat.
Big. But yeah, that one really put us on the map. Has been sculptors that were working in Burgas, because we got a lot of Bulgarians that were living in Australia and America that was letting us know, we saw your cats on the internet, blah blah blah. So that felt really good that the cats had inspired us, and we went out and we created the cats.
I suppose they're spiritual animals.
Absolutely, yeah. Some people would believe that they're trans-dimensional beings and all.
Yeah, I've heard it. I don't know. I'm not so much of a cat person. I love them, but I don't feel them this way. But anyways, when you look at their eyes, it's something different. And the way they're like, they have an opinion. They're keeping to their opinion, not like the dog. The dog will serve you.
Interesting. A cat. If a cat's going to eat you, a cat will first of all put you to sleep, and then it will eat you.
The big cat.
Any cat. Watch any cat that's killing, and what it'll do is it'll play maybe a little bit, and then it'll put to sleep. Normally with a bite.
Yeah.
A dog will eat you while you're awake. A dog will just go for you and eat you. And interesting that in Egypt, if you was to harm a cat, if you was to kill a cat in Egypt, you would be sentenced to death.
No, yeah.
And the Persians famously once
they loved them.
The Persian people, they could never beat the Egyptians and that lot, and they had one war, and what they did is they put all cats
on the shields.
All cats on the warriors all carried a cat, and all the Egyptians refused to fight, so the war was lost.
Oh, this is such a goddamn.
It's very clever. The Persians were very clever people. They still are.
Yeah, they are.
But, you've got a big connection with cats also in this part of the world, haven't you? You've got like, is it called a basset cat? There's some connection with Bulgaria.
A hill somewhere?
Yeah, in this
like
area.
A temple?
I don't recognize the word, but
Yeah, you know the big cat, the Egyptian big cats. They've got a connection with here in this part of Bulgaria.
I don't remember.
No, it's if you look into it, it's
I would
very interesting. But when you look back at the
but it's
Egypt
strange in Bulgaria. It's not like in Varna, it's not like in Plovdiv or Sofia. Nowhere there are so many cats. We don't have dogs. We don't have like any dogs on the streets. Different than any other city in Bulgaria, but in Burgas, lots of cats.
We met a lot of people like the guardians of the cats.
In
Burgas.
Every morning when I know, and they're like with the buckets.
They got the food, they got the water, they got all these containers for water.
As soon as they enter the sea garden and like 20 cats are walking after them.
They call it cat colonies. There's cat colonies.
We call them the cat slaves. They have no choice, do they?
People.
They've got this little parasite that you get off the cats, and then you become slaves of the cats. So we know a few people that are slaves of cats.
What was that? That's very strange parasite that makes you like very
zombie,
fearless. Was that the one?
I think it's something from toxoplasmosis.
Toxoplasmosis. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But it makes
you fearless.
I do know that them people are hypnotized by cats because why? Because we know someone that feeds 200 cats a day, and she loves doing it, and all the cats love her.
In my village, I got a friend. She's from Holland, actually. And she's
your village in
Mihailovo.
Mihailovo.
And she's the crazy cat woman there. She's got 16 now, 16 and cats. People keep bringing the cats, and she's like, "Oh, I've enough," but she can't say no. So, and she's now actually sterilizing cats because they're getting too many. So she's paying to have cats sterilized all over the village just to keep it under control a little bit. If people get paid.
So every time we sculpt,
no rats in that village.
No. Every time we sculpt something, there's a story. Nothing just happens. There's always something happening around us, or with the cats, like I say, it was obvious, but it wasn't. It wasn't obvious the effect it was going to have on the people.
No, it was amazing that That was also that the television came to do interviews and stuff. The cats. And for example, when we make an elephant, elephants are the symbol of pushing through, removing barriers. So if we make an elephant, then some obstacle needs to be removed from the path.
Things like that.
And it happens?
Yeah,
it works?
Well, the Hindus believe, they have different way of thinking about things. They believe in Lord Ganesha, and they will give... you've seen Lord Ganesha, the guy with the elephant head.
Yeah.
The son of Lord Shiva. And they believe that if you pray to this deity, Ganesha, that he will remove an obstacle. It doesn't matter if that obstacle is a tree that's fallen across the road or a relative that's doing something wrong or some business problem. They pray to this deity to remove the obstacle. I quite like the way that they do it in Hinduism. They also have things like abundance, where when all your trees are full of fruit, there's a very specific feeling that comes with this, and we call it abundance, the feeling of having more than what you need. Well, the Hindus, they try and bring up this feeling when they're praying to their Lakshmi. You'll see her, she gives gold from her hands. And
from her coins and pearls from her hands.
So
it just pours out abundance.
The difference between Western mind and Eastern mind is fundamental.
Yeah, totally.
So I built my first sculpture actually in India in 1991. That's where it actually came to me. And I was
the first one?
The first one.
In India?
In India, yeah.
He was sitting on the beach.
I was sitting on the beach, paradise for the first time, and I started just playing, just like, again, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? You play with wet sand, and I did it, but I was 25, 26 years old at the time. And after 40, 50 minutes, a face appeared, and it was pretty... I was kind of blown away because I didn't really think I had any artistic talent. But that was my start, my sand sculpture, and then 3 weeks later, I was in the Canary Islands. I run out of money. I had no money. I was on an island with no money. So I started making a sculpture, and then somebody came across and said, if you make the sculpture in front of my restaurant, not only will I give you some money, I'll also feed you. And that's how my career started. And so people started just giving me to create. So
were you two together then?
no, not then. I met Remy a few years, 10 years later.
2003.
So we've been together 18 years.
We were already each individually doing sand sculpture when we met each other. In a big festival in Belgium, in Zeebrugge. So he was on that big mountain making that godhead, and I was halfway down the mountain making 2 goddesses. And then we saw each other and we recognized each other. Where do I know you from? It was like there was an instant connection. I knew there was my man. There he was.
And you find him?
Yes.
But you had the feeling you knew him?
Yes, like a soulmate or like meant to be. There he is.
And strangely, over the last few years and that lot, we'd been I'd been sculpting in China at the same time, but just at a different event. And we've been sculpting at different events, like a few miles away.
We almost met each other for years.
So it was one of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
When the time was right, we met.
But have you had this feeling before?
I was dreaming about him since I can remember. In my dreams, if things go wrong, there was always somebody coming to help me. And,
but as a feeling or as an image?
As an image, the face. So he was already there in my dreams.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's how it works, really, You got something called...
Did you tell him that? When did you tell him that?
Well, where do I know you from? That's what we kept saying to each other. We were trying to figure out where we knew each other from, but we hadn't met yet. But
it was quite funny because I went to stay in Holland. We stayed in Holland for a little bit, and then I said, do you want to go on tour? She went, what do you mean? I said, would you like to go to America and making sand sculptures? We'll go on tour. And she said, if you can make that happen, please make it happen. And we didn't stop travelling for 15 years.
Yeah, we would go from one event to the other, and then stay with friends in between.
Everything fit in like a zip. It was like one event finished, and then the next event would start, and then another invite would come, and it was like one job was making the next job, and that was making the next. It was like I said, it was seamless. And if I tried to make that happen, I don't think I could make something like that happen.
How a thing like this happens?
I think if
you're letting go, or you're saying everything yes, or how?
Well, I think
how a person can become this.
For me, it's about resonance, and it's about energy, resonance, and vibration. And if you're doing something that makes you feel so good, you will vibrate an energy. If people pick up on that energy, it will also change their energy. So you become a little bit more than what you was from resonance and vibration. Yeah. So I think that I don't look at things like how we're programmed to believe things. I don't think that things always happen how we've been told. Sometimes we do have something called synchronicity. And I do believe that if you're doing something that's for the good of, not just for yourself, but for the good of others, for everyone's well-being, if you're doing something to try and lift, I think that is an energy in itself, and it grows, and that will take you forward. It's like people that have a love for, if you've got a love for something and you express it, that's powerful stuff to be able to express yourself. Most people do it in singing. We understand that. When someone sings a beautiful song, we feel it. When someone makes a beautiful meal and that, we taste it and it's the same with art. Again, not commercial art, not art that's trying to make a deal with you, a bargain for money.
We're very passionate about this, and the people we work with at these festivals are our colleagues, our friends. They work their hearts out. They're so passionate about it. So we have a group of people, and we were not the only ones who were going from event to event to event. Mm-hmm. And the organizers realized that if you share travel cost, that you can cut down on the cost of flying in international artists enormously if you take these people on a tour. And then other people started organizing events in the time period in between two events. So the tour was getting bigger, and we were all like a traveling circus, seeing each other all over the world, from going from event to event.
How many people are the group of you that are traveling all of this?
There was 200 of us.
But at that time there was
globally.
about 40 that we kept seeing.
40,
all the
and
time,
like
yeah.
half of them are
Worldwide.
like new people that
No.
are, you don't know them, they are
No,
like
no,
we know
locals,
them
or
all.
Yeah,
you know
it was
you know
like
them all.
Yeah.
There's not too many people in the world who do this professionally.
To a level.
So we know most
It's a
of
small
them, yeah.
community,
Yeah,
like
you can
200
see-
people.
yeah.
It's like
People
Yeah,
don't.
yeah,
You
it
can't
is.
go to a recognized master sand sculpturing event. You can't apply and go.
have
You've
to
got
be
to be
invited.
invited. It's like if you're a sprinter. You know, I would love to run in the Olympics and that lot. I'm not that good a runner, but I can't just go, dear Olympics, can I come and run? You go,
there are
"No,
more
that-
than 200 Olympic runners, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know,
But there's less than 200, like you said, 40 people that are going to this event.
Who are recognized masters.
Yeah.
Who have mastered it to a degree where they've consistently shown that they can create high level work, and they've won awards at the master level. That's, you know, it normally takes you 8 to 10 years, but I don't call myself a master because I don't really buy into that. I think maybe if you've been doing something 40 or 50 years, maybe.
Yeah, but they call you master,
They call
right?
me,
Yeah,
I
but
don't call
they
them
had
master.
like definitions in place, and we fit it into the definition. So yes, we're master.
Well, we classified
We
them.
classified as
But, you
master.
know, I
I
struggle.
suppose it's the worst if you call yourself.
Yeah,
a
I struggle so
Yes.
much. I struggle so much to like classify. I don't like labels anyway, but if I say yes, I'm a master, it's like, well, you know, that's a hole I'm going to fall down.
Hello, man.
Because, like I say, I struggle.
It's a small community. You know everyone. Like everyone that arranges this kind of stuff knows you.
The organizers are the artists just like us. Sometimes we organize events as well.
Mhm.
So it's
How this works?
yeah, we take a commission, and if it's bigger than we with the two of us can handle, then we get other sculptors involved.
You give them the call because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know them. You have their
Yeah,
contacts.
we
Absolutely,
know
yeah.
if we have to make a theme park, and I need somebody to make an awesome castle, I gonna
You know the
approach
person
them-
that
yes,
makes the
that
castles.
makes castles. Or makes like really like portraits.
When now I'm thinking about it, if I divide you guys, all of like this community into groups, there'll be like couple of guys doing castles, couple of guys doing
Yes,
like
everybody got their special.
I don't know, nature,
Yeah,
architecture,
faces.
you know.
Most of us are all round, but
Yeah.
I mean, I do buildings and logos and people and animals.
Everything.
Abstract, but I got like a preference for making faces and
Yeah.
and animals.
So when I ask you about this type of sound structure, like in the beginning of our conversation, you know who did this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
come
know.
on.
Yeah, I know. Built the sculptures. Yeah, it's crazy actually.
Yeah, it
Even
is.
if I didn't see even if I wasn't there, I can tell. We can normally tell
We
by the
know
style.
what the others are doing.
If I ask you
yeah.
about the style, and you have a couple of names
Yeah,
in
we
your
know the
head.
people that do this style. You know, there's like when I started like 30 years ago, there was maybe in the world there was maybe 10 people that were really doing it seriously.
Yeah.
When the internet first came out, there was like 2 people in America and myself in the UK, and we were the first 3 people on the internet with sand sculpting. So now
Traveling so much and
I've
having
seen it
this
grow
like
from an idea on the beach to now we work at, like I said, multi-million-dollar events. If we go to the States and we're doing the World Championships and things like that. So
when did this profession became a profession? When did it become a multi-million-dollar event?
well,
Because I suppose that this was not the case like 20 years ago.
no, 20 years ago, it
No, but they
absolutely
had, like,
was.
they-
Yeah.
I was.
It was, yeah. There was events that were happening in America, in Atlantic City, in that lot 25 years ago. A legend in our art form called Jerry Kirk.
Yeah, he made the
He
first
made
ones,
the
yeah.
first really big sand sculpture in San Diego, I think it was, and then he was then he came over to
And at that
Holland.
time, perhaps no one knew what he was looking at.
Nobody
they were like,
had ever seen anything like this since, for maybe a couple of 100 years and that lot. But sand sculpture is something that's always been with us. It's just that it goes through populist times. If you go back to the First World War, after the First World War in the United Kingdom, we had people making sculptures on the beaches up until the 50s. In America, again, 100 years ago, we've got old photographs from America's sand sculptures in Florida. The Black Sea coast, there was a very famous sculptor that was in his 80s, back in the 1890s. So even in the 18th, 19th centuries, people have always made sand sculptures on the beaches in this area too, but not many of us.
And some events that we went to, they started small, like to extend the tourist season. So at the end of the season, they had a sand sculpture competition. And to attract artists, they say from all the beer you can drink and, like free party, basically. So the first sculptures of that colleagues of us made were for beer. But then they got the travel money and accommodation, and then eventually they got paid.
As they got more professional.
Or the prize money. So by the time we rolled into it, it was well established that you get your transport, your food, your accommodation, and you get a show-up fee, and then there was prize money. So then it became lucrative.
But you never did it because of this?
No.
Never.
No, but you need some money to...
Never.
People used to say to me when I first started, you're really talented, but you need to get a job. A real job. And I used to go, do I look like I want a real job?
If you wanted one, you'll never the man that you are now.
I never wanted a career. That's the last thing I wanted. I'd never wanted a career. I wasn't sitting on the beach in India looking for a career. I was sitting on the beach in India looking for myself,
You were never 18 and was thinking about what university should I go in?
No.
Should I be an accountant or a lawyer?
All I wanted to do was travel. The only thing I wanted to do was leave England, get out of the place as quickly as I could and leave. Seriously.
Because of the Wham song, right?
No, that wasn't. No, but as a young man, my dream was to travel the world. My dream was to see what I haven't seen. And up to now, I've been to like 30 countries, and it's been the greatest passion of my life is travelling. 2 years off because I thought I'd had enough. 2 years ago, before the pandemic started, I thought that I'd had enough, and I thought I'm going to retire from doing this because I don't like travelling.
He doesn't like flying.
I don't like flying, and I was in an airplane every week, so. But anyway, now I've had 2 years rest.
After these 2 years of pandemic, I suppose that you're like out of your skin. I want to go and just.
I'm happy
because we went to the Maldives last week.
But I am really happy to be back on the beach because I look like, if I look at my sand sculpturing career, I see where I started on the beach and that lot. I went from the beach and that, and I did all these high-profile things. I sculpted for the Queen of England and for all these TV programs and the World Championships and that, and I had a really high. And then I come back to the beach, and I'm much happier on the Burgas beach than I ever was sculpting sand in the World Championships. Why? Because I've got a voice now. On the beach, I've got a voice. But working for the big companies.
What do you want to say with this voice?
Well, I want to tell people. I tell people with my sculptures again. For me, it's about the easiest way to do it is with symbolism and that lot, with signs. So when I see. I'm sitting on, don't forget, I sat on that beach for 10 hours every day. I sit there watching people. I'm also guarding the beach. So I get a feeling for people. And that's why with the pandemic, why I started building, because I came here and I could see the people were not that they were happy, but that there was a fear, there was some overpowering, everybody experienced it in their own ways, and there was a lot of people were lost. People, I could see you can't go for something to eat, you can't do this. So I just wanted to let them know that this isn't the end. This is just
I hope no one thought this, but I suppose someone did.
People did, yeah. Some people did.
Yeah.
Some people lost their businesses and. Life ended for some people.
So that's why the ephemeral really comes in and that lot. It's like, this is of the moment. What we're going through now, it's not who we are. It's just what we're going through. So like I say, we presented an angel and people said to us, we really needed that we really needed that feeling right now.
How do you think this pandemic we'll get used to it, or we'll have a final dose of vaccine, or we'll have a cure,
No,
or
the damage has already been done.
What happens?
The damage has already been done, and now we have to concentrate on like recovery.
Also, the worst is over.
I think the worst is over, but I don't think the worst is over. I think the worst has already been done. It's been done, whether we like it or not, no matter what your view is or your opinion is.
Yeah.
It's all been done. Whether the vaccines are good for you or bad for you, we will see.
But
for me personally,
it could be much worse.
well, it could be much
He's
worse.
an optimist.
Yeah, it could be much worse. You could have an asteroid fall out of the sky. And
No, I
wipe us
mean,
all out, but,
it could be a worse variant. It could be a worse government policies.
well,
like,
it's pretty bad
policy,
right now. I
The
think.
regulations killed more people than or will kill more people.
yeah, maybe, but they can get worse. We could be like Australia all over the place.
I know.
But this is why we're making babies and we're making animals and we're making things like this, gentle things, natural, normal things that people.
For the free people of Bulgaria.
No syringes, like
No syringes,
no
no
syringes.
masks. And yeah, some of our friends and that lot have gone all virtuous and that lot and decided to tell other people what to do and wear your mask and get your vax and all that. I would never dream to tell anybody what to do, because I know that one thing, when you judge people, you become judgmental. Well, mental is a cognitive disorder, so we're here to judge ourselves and our own actions and then try and work on ourselves to improve ourselves. We're not here to improve other people.
Yeah, but the worst is because all of these people that got judgmental and they do it with their best intentions.
That's what they
But
believe.
again, it's like, if something that's good for one person doesn't necessarily mean that equates to it's good for everybody. And we're all individuals at the end of the day.
Yeah, I have this conversation now with a couple of episodes ago. I had here one anarchist, and he's like, there is no position where individual should have their intentions different from the crowd. The crowd knows, and the best for the crowd is the best for. And it's
I don't know about that.
It has this, according to me, has some dark places to go there, some dark roads about this.
The crowd is as simple to manoeuvre as a single-celled organism, and that lot we know that through the work of Elias Canetti in his book Crowds and Power. This is a book recommendation. Great, thank you. It's called Crowds and Power.
Okay.
And if you read this book, it was by a Nobel Prize-winning guy, and he wrote down how to control people, how you make people into this mass psychosis of fear, and how you control people through fear.
Yeah, that's why I think that perhaps maybe there is a possibility that the worst is not over.
Well, I think it's
we're at our
individual.
worst yet variant. We're at our worst yet government proposals and measures, and
I think don't conform to something. If someone tells you to do something that you're not comfortable with, don't do it. But especially if it's your body, it's like you can't say to anybody. It's like we've got this
human
thing now.
rights.
You've got your human rights,
Yeah.
but it's my body, my choice. And if you can say that about aborting baby fetuses, then you can say my body, my choice about what you put into it. And,
but even somewhere around the world, they don't think that your body is your choice.
Well,
in
that's
any way.
that's their view.
And
That's just a view. That's not the and it only is a view and an opinion and that lot. But we're all entitled to that and that. For me personally, I don't believe that you can tell anybody what to do. If somebody's doing something that's wrong, if you see somebody like doing something that's wrong, setting fires, step in and stop them. But you can't say to people, what I'm going to say. Excuse me to the fat lady.
There are people now that they think that they're doing the right thing by yelling you from the other side of the street. Put a mask, you murderer!
But as humans, we must not confuse what we
still
think
don't have it here, but
with reality. Just because we think something doesn't equate with reality, and just because people have got the wrong idea about something, I get it. It's called fear. It's called divide and conquer, and you have to be blind not to see it in mainstream media. You cannot have an opinion on Facebook if it goes against the official line. You have an opinion, they'll take you off. Twitter is the same. So we see, just like in the olden days of the Soviet Union, how things are like, it's propaganda, it's all kept back, it's disinformation. We can see this, it's disinformation. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, I've read a lot of conspiracy theories, but I keep my eyes open.
We have it not in the Soviet Union, we still have it these days, even stronger. They had it in the West, they had it in the East.
It's
this
everywhere now.
mind pollution and this mind-boggling stuff that.
Yeah, you go down the
they're
rabbit
worse.
hole in that lot. There's so much going on in society in that lot. You know, like I said, just you've got your own algorithm on the internet. You know, they know what you look at. They know that we've got confirmation bias in that lot. And if I want to look into some subject on YouTube or something, the algorithm will provide me with
They will
content
feed you
that I
some
want,
different stuff that they're feeding me. The algorithm will choose
I-
different information to you than me.
That's why most people now have kind of left YouTube and they're going to these like Brighteons and Rumble and all these alternative video sharing sites and that, because YouTube used to be great, but all the really good stuff's gone now. You know what I mean? And it's like one opinion. It's like the party line. You know, it's like the old newspapers of they've got the party line, and anyone that goes against it, you know, this is a very old psychology that's been used against the people. But like I say, I think it'll end, because I think people have had enough. And how do you end it? You stop watching the news. You stop paying attention. You stop giving politicians your time. You know, give your family and your friends time. Give your neighbours time. Don't give your politicians.
Give your health time.
Yeah, give your health.
Like eat healthy, move, run.
Go in the garden. Go back to the garden.
That's the worst thing. It's like with the vaccine, it's like the beginning and the end. It's not like eating healthy, having something, working out. It's not like
Boost your
taking
immune
care of
system.
you. Yeah, with everything.
All these like these remedies. Bulgaria is full of knowledge about natural medicine, herbs, to keep you healthy. It's all there. It's all here. Just
But we forgot it all. We forgot it because
in the villages, the Babas still know.
Still do it. They still know.
They
so
got a herb for
why
everything.
we have this mortality rate?
People die all the time. Flu season, people are dying
Stress.
with fear. They all, you can again, if you read House and Power, it'll
sure.
tell you
Smoking.
if you can make most people afraid. What happens is your immunity drops. Fear does that straight away to you, and stress. We know this. It's like they say cigarettes will kill you, but no, it's stress that will kill you. These are high mortality rate, but where do we get our facts and figures? We get it off the news. We get it off the people that are maybe got agendas. You know, because pharmaceutical companies make a lot of money, always have done, always will do. And it's like, the scientists say that if you don't take this, you're going to die. It's like, come on. Yeah, we're all going to die.
Yeah, but the authorities here have the same agenda as the authorities in UK, for example.
No,
there is
exactly.
a worldwide.
But it's the pharmaceutical companies.
But
that have
anyways,
done
the mortality here is the highest in the world.
Yeah, we read that again. It's like data and that lot can be manipulated and that lot. I personally don't know
Yeah, for sure,
anybody.
the data here is manipulated the same way it's manipulated all over the world.
I don't know anyone that's died of COVID. I don't know anyone that's died of it.
In our village, well, of course, the old people die. They're 87.
But
I don't know anyone that's died
every
of it.
winter,
They told us
the old people die.
Anyway, we're talking about COVID.
yeah, sorry, sorry guys.
No, it's okay, but it's very relevant right now, so why not?
We heard about Bulgaria, but what about Burgas? How did you choose Burgas? Because there is a lot of sand on our east border.
Burgas welcomed us. First, it was practical. There is a
Why not
train from
Varna?
our village to here.
And
then we checked it out. We came here.
And you first chose the village, regardless of where it's according to the beach.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yes,
we
yeah, we
didn't
did,
imagine that we would be making sculptures in Bulgaria.
We thought.
Really, you've been doing sculptures for so long, and you just bought a house and said no more.
No more.
We'll be traveling.
To recharge our batteries.
Because we was having job offers like weekly, so we didn't need to.
You can travel.
We was just getting job after job after job, traveling like in China and Canada and that. So we didn't have to work in Bulgaria. Bulgaria was where we came to go into the garden, to work the land, to rest, to breathe. We did a lot of, like when we first got here, a lot of yoga, and we still do meditation and that. And
with hindsight, we might have, if we would have orientated ourselves better, we might have bought a house on the coast, which makes more sense, right? Being
I think we needed me personally, I think I needed to be in a small village with a few people and that.
We were always
A lot of this around Burgas.
Yeah.
But I was just like putting the puzzle together, and you're just like, Burgas is close enough,
Well, we was
let's go there and...
we had a little holiday in what was the name of the place?
Sarajevo.
Sarajevo. And when we was in Sarajevo, we was doing started balancing some rocks because we also work with other natural products. Like we do a lot of rock balancing.
Oh, that's great.
And when we was doing rock balancing, a reporter had photographed us doing it, and we got a little bit of a buzz there because it was art and.
But the beaches there, they were more for the people sitting on the beach, but there was not a boulevard where people walked by.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have if you present your sand sculptures, that people can see it. It's good if they can walk by, look down on your sculptures, and that was not there. But then we came to Burgas.
Let's have a look in Burgas.
Yeah, and it was all set up. Yeah. And it's a city by the sea, so you don't just have the season, because people live here all year round, and they walk and run on the beach all year round. So, and it's to be honest, it's in the summer a bit too hot for us in Bulgaria to be on the beach all day long. It's to sit with your
I suppose so
sculpture.
many hours, but it's not it's not Mexico.
No.
But for us, like the spring and the autumn and even the winter.
Even the winter, now it's a couple of days ago it was more than 20 degrees.
Yeah, on the day that they threw the cross in the sea, that was an amazing day. So because it's a city by the sea, that's why Burgas was our choice. And Varna, it could maybe worked in Varna, but it's further away from our farm.
We want to do something in Varna, like.
You've been there?
We've been there once. We spent the night there once, but. We've heard that it's a really beautiful city, and it's got
very
a
beautiful city.
A big name for art and that lot. So we did get someone contact us, but they never followed through. They wanted us to build a sculpture there, but I'm sure we'll go to Varna. Yeah,
but in Burgas we were so welcome. Yeah, people are so.
We know all the dogs.
Well, we know
all the dogs.
We're on perfect dog stroke.
We get dog therapy every single day. We know all the old babas. They all come by. They all say hello. So we've made friends in this city.
Yeah,
we should go to Varna. Okay, we'll have to arrange something and go to Varna. I've been studying in Varna and living there for like 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. So we should do it.
Yeah.
You have some time? These days, next week, beginning of next week.
Yeah, he's flying to England. He's going to see his family for the first time in 3 years, was it?
Something like that.
Yeah, he's all set up to go. We do PCR test tomorrow for him. And then we go to Sofia.
And I'll also
hope everything is fine. It's perfect, and
I'm going to go into
not
London.
doing the Djokovic.
No.
But when we come back, then let's
for
go to
sure.
Varna.
Okay, for sure. Yeah. So next 3 days I'm off, but maybe again in the beginning of next month. So
maybe I'll be back.
Then he'll be back.
Perfect.
I never know. I don't know. I've got no solid plans, but I know that I'm going to make sculptures in England. I've got a couple of sculptures that I want to make in London, and a sculpture I want to make in Cornwall. So it'd be nice to go to England and sculpt in the cold, the dirty beaches.
Maybe
it's a bit colder than here, or what's the weather? A bit colder.
Yeah.
But you're in the north. Yeah.
It's very cold where I come from. I won't be building any sculptures where I come from.
His youngest daughters live in Cornwall, so he'll be going to the Cornwall beaches, which are a bit
very beautiful in Cornwall.
Beautiful.
The West Country in the UK. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, I imagine it. I'm like I've seen some imagery from there. You'll be here or going just looking after the garden of the what was the name of Mr.
Dave.
Dave. Yeah. Dave. Taking care of Dave.
Makes lots of attention, and I'm gonna visit my friends. I'm gonna see my girls.
You have children?
No, Paul.
I have 3 daughters and 3 grandchildren.
3 daughters and 3 grandchildren. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Somebody had though.
I have 1 daughter, but I'll be catching up.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm blessed having 3 beautiful daughters, but this pandemic's kind of kept me away from them, so I really need to go to England and just spend some time with them.
All of them are there?
Yeah, they're all there. They're all in the UK.
Not traveling and...
No, they're all settled.
They're quite settled.
Yeah, they're settled. And
what happened? This is strange.
Because their mom is also a traveller.
Yeah. Yeah, you always want what I never wanted what my parents had.
This isn't...
You never want to be your parents. You always want to be, the opposite. So I wanted to get away from where I come from straight away. And
your daughters have never even been in a hostel, which is amazing.
Spoiled.
Yeah. They go into hotels.
Only 5 stars and caviar.
It's great. We get to meet them in like the Canary Islands, and when we've had holidays, it's been in Canaries or Holland and Scotland, or we always take them somewhere crazy to have holidays.
Bulgaria.
They love Bulgaria.
Yes.
They love it in Bulgaria.
I hope to see them. I hope to see you in Mihailovo, because I only imagine it, but we have villages like most of the Bulgarians have like grandpa and grandma somewhere in some small village. And I hope I come by there. I'll see you at the beach. You have something in mind for the future, like some next sun sculptures, or...
I hope he'll be back for Valentine's Day.
Yeah?
We'll do Valentine's hearts. And
I really want... She wants to do all this, but I want to do like a big, like a bulldog, or like one of these pug dogs, I want to do a big one.
Yes, with all these wrinkles in his face.
So it's just like on the beach.
We're going to do that for sure. Yeah. But with Valentine's Day, we'll do some hearts.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm not
not so much on the hearts?
Well, it's easy, isn't it?
Couple of bottles of wine,
but it's easy to do.
The winery in Bulgaria, it's on such a high pedestal. We love making wine. We love drinking wine. It's on the same day, even.
Yeah, it's a wine day as well.
Yeah. I'm drinking wine.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Some
grapes and things.
Yeah. A lot of detail there, but.
So we did recently do a love sculpture, and that was the 2 skeletons. Did you see it?
Every time that you're telling me about the babies, and I was like, I should not interrupt, but they're doing skeletons.
But the skeletons was about love.
I know. I immediately recognized this because they found them like this, the archaeologists, and it was like, this is the greatest, oldest love story in the world.
So for me, it was very important to put that out on the beach and that. But a lot of people...
so Babas really didn't like it.
They misread it.
Yeah. Many people, not even young people, are sending this image, and some guys are like, wow, this is... Why? Another one, this is great.
It's my favourite sculpture that I've built on the beach here. It was my number 1.
Strong feelings on the whole spectrum, from hate it to love it, and... That's a good one. I suppose that you're always trying this, inspiring people to feel everything from the whole spectrum of feelings.
Yeah, this stopped.
I think that was the most controversial.
I don't know if it's controversial.
It turned out to be.
It's as controversial as, again,
mixed
in
emotions.
this time, as death. But death shouldn't really be that controversial, really.
It is part of life.
It's the one thing we're born to do. We're born to die. What you do in between is, But we're here to die, and I believe that we should be not afraid of death. I think you should be. It's like birth. It's just the opposite end of birth. I think we should accept it and face it without flinching. I don't think it's such a big deal, really. That's why I don't really buy all this pandemic fear. Yeah, people die, but that's just normal. It's like trees lose their leaves. Flowers die, but there's still the bulb in the ground. It's like we come from the transcendental state, and the flower still comes back up and has another life. I believe that we're the same. We come from nothing, we go to nothing, and then if we're...
Next experience.
Yeah, Is there a next experience?
I'm sure there is.
There must be.
Why?
If you came from nothing...
That's why my question was, why? Why should there be anything?
Well, I don't think it's got anything to do with belief. Life and death, a flower doesn't come from the ground because it believes. It's a natural movement of the universe. It's like
but does it have this problem that we call consciousness, to experience the world and to say maybe there is something?
Well, consciousness and that lot, we can, the way that they think about consciousness is that scientists believe that the consciousness is a byproduct of the physicality, and that your consciousness is something generated by this. But now they're saying that that's not how it is. They're saying that it's actually the physical that's created by the conscious instead of the other way around. We used to have an idea that it was like the universe was like, now they're saying it's conscious universe. Why? Because when they look at our synapses in our brain and they look at the fine stuff in our brain, it's exactly the same as the stars in the sky, the universe.
Yeah, it's a model. It's like simple rules that when you apply, you create everything.
Absolutely, the macro and the micro. Everything, you know, you can use the same patterns and that lot. If you look at the solar system, how it works, and then you look at the atom and that lot, and how the electron is going around the atom. It's all very. It's all mirrored.
If we can explain it, if you have a formula.
So if you look at every day that you wake up in the morning, you attain your consciousness and you go through the day and that lot, you go right through the day, and on the night you go back to sleep and then you're unconscious. So you've got that thing going on, like that circle, that day thing. Well, it's the same in a life. You can take the day and you can match it with your life. You're born and then you go through your life and you get to your 40s and 50s and eventually you die. So it's the same pattern. You know.
But I knew that I was asleep.
So
I counted the time, but I don't count the time when I was not alive.
Well, Tibetan Buddhism, they talk all about that in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and the main things that bring us to this realm, and attachment being the main one. Like Buddhism says, that's why they try and lose all attachment to earthly things and that lot, because when they're ready to make the journey, they don't want to be attached to even family or friends or your money or your home.
That's how I understand your art, the sand sculptures. I understand them as the mandalas that they're doing.
You learn how to let go.
For sure. For sure. That's not a stone that will be there thousands of years.
No.
As the pyramids, for example.
And it was a process to learn how to let go. The first sculpture that somebody actually destroyed it in front of me, I wanted to strangle them, even though it was a child.
Even a child. So the perfect example.
Exactly.
So you learn how to let go. But what to say for the other subject?
The same subject.
Yeah. So sometimes you remember your dreams or parts of your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes you also remember things from previous lives. I remember for myself, I did a course parapente with a parachute. So you run off a mountain and then you're flying.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw my shadow go under me like this over the trees. And I pulled the rope and it was like having wings. And all of a sudden I was I'd done this before. I flew before. I was a bird. And I knew for sure that I've been a bird before. So I had these moments in my life that I
have goosebumps because the other day I was having the strongest deja vu ever, and I haven't had one in like years, and it was like so long. I was now we're home office, and I was working from my home, and I was like my wife was preparing the dinner, and the situation was unique because I'm sure I was never in this situation, but as a deja vu, as any deja vu, but it was so long and I knew everything that's going to happen. But I was preparing for this interview, like if I can call it this, for this conversation. And what should I be asking? How should I understand the stuff that you do? I was trying to be in your shoes, to look from the side, to have an opinion so I can prepare some questions, to lose that opinion, to prepare with my own process. And this deja vu happened and I was like, wow, that's so strange. And if there is a game like this from our mind, because I don't know what's the deja vu. Maybe it's like your experience. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's
a glitch in the matrix.
Like it's perhaps it's this. Perhaps it's a simulation. Why not? If it's inevitable, maybe it is. And I'm just like asking.
I think with deja
vu
and that, the point of it isn't that if you have real deja vu, you actually see things. You see, like in the Matrix, you will see the cat. I've seen deja vu once in life, and I saw the same thing happen twice, and I get the feeling that it's there to press your button so you know to pay attention. If something like that happens, it's the universe saying like, pay attention, wake up, because something's changed, something's different.
I interpret it's like I'm on the right path.
Yes.
I'm like, here all of the roads that are possible, they're like intersecting, maybe merging, or just then I'm here. I'm okay. Whatever I did, or it's here, and I should continue doing what I'm doing. And
well,
so
it's good that you take a positive. You take positive from it.
I'm not sure if it's positive. The question I was having before, that when you're feeling the feelings that you're feeling, and how can you know that with the best intentions you're not doing the worst thing?
Well, they have a saying in "Do as thou wilt." Do as you will, but cause no harm. So you can do whatever you want in life as long as you're not causing any harm. You know, that's what it's about. And whether that's to the environment, to other people, to yourself. So that's I try and live by that philosophy. Do as you will.
And be unto others as you want others to
Well,
be
that's the same
unto
thing.
you.
Yeah.
Well,
But if you're causing harm to having less harm in return, not to yourself, but to others, just to alleviate more harm, you're causing less harm, you know. Have you been in this situation?
I think again it's energy. Yeah, I think we've all been in this
but
situation.
he's got children, so you cannot not traumatize children. Whatever you do as a parent, you will too much love, not enough love. You know.
My second daughter, she used to love skipping when we was walking, and she would jump into the road sometimes, and you have to make a sound that gets your child to you. So you might make a loud noise at them, which scares them, that brings them in. Yeah, you've caused a little bit of harm there.
Cry.
Maybe you've caused a bit of post-traumatic stress syndrome, but you might have saved them from getting bloody run over. So it's like,
yeah, the politicians think this about us.
I think politicians again.
This is the basis. Like they're like these people. I know the best for them. Better than they know for themselves.
I don't think that.
And this is the cause of the root of the problems. Yeah.
Most politicians again care for themselves.
Even these are these are the good ones that are not thinking about intentionally robbing people for their own benefit.
You know, it's like a teacher in that lot, or a doctor. Once people have a sense of their own power, and it's very difficult to feel that power and then not to use it. So I understand with politicians and that lot where they're coming from and that lot. Yeah, a lot of politicians are probably they go into politics to help people. Absolutely, sure, 100%.
Even the worst ones.
Yeah, but once you're in that, it's like once you're in it, and then you're part of the club whether you like it or not. You know what I mean? I know in the country I come from, United Kingdom and that, you don't get to any position of power unless they've got something to blackmail you with.
Oh, in the UK, you have strong established structure. It's not like here. Here it's like much more dynamic, not so hardly established structures, because structures fail here.
Don't mean to say that them structures that are established are strong or any better than the ones that are not, because in England you ain't going to be Prime Minister unless you've been to the right schools. You're not going to be in certain jobs unless you've been to the right universities and that lot. It's a club. It's a boys' club. It always has been. It's the same people, the same families.
Yeah, it's not like here. I that's what I meant. Here it's like, have you been following the politics in Bulgaria?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. Is it strange?
Well, it's just the same as everywhere in that lot. I find Bulgaria very. A lot of people said to me, "Oh, Bulgaria's mafia and all this lot," but it's like I found it very easygoing and very, very light. Actually, it's not as heavy and as hardcore as like American politics or British politics or Australian politics for that matter. I think we've got it pretty good in this country. I really do.
Yeah, I think so.
I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe that. I think we're in one of the most freest countries in the world right now, and we can see that.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
There's people fleeing from Germany coming to.
I heard that.
Yes.
Do you have? You said that you have someone from Holland in the village. In the village. Is there anyone else?
Yeah, I've got an English couple that Russian. Yeah.
You're international village.
Well, it's not a lot of people, but we have noticed that the houses are starting to get rebuilt. There's people moving back into the villages. Because why? Because people realising that lot that
I want so hard to go to get some house and some land to just have this freedom.
You can still have that in Bulgaria.
Yeah. It's very easily and affordable. Yeah, I understand that. Have you bring someone to Bulgaria by having the good word, kind word?
We've
like
brought lots of people.
Lots of people moved here because of you.
Well, you know, we don't want to be influencers in that lot, but we have our house. We call it the Wild Wild East, and like we were saying, we've been been doing the project where we've been bringing a lot of foreign people here to work on our place and that lot. And people, the first thing that people can't believe is Bulgaria, how beautiful it is. You know, we have a friend, Gaia, that you met. She walked across Bulgaria. She walked
She did that long path.
All
over the Balkans.
Ah, yeah.
And she's...
Yes.
And she's walked across India and all over the place. Australia, that's what Gaia does. She walks across landscapes. And she was blown away by it.
Really?
Absolutely blown away. Wow. Because you've still got something that we haven't got anymore in the West. You've still got a sense of freedom. You don't really have that. You've got to work in. Where I come from, people have got to struggle to work. They've got to pay their bills, and they've got to eat, then they've got to have social. It's just so expensive as life. And it's busy, and we've got terrible weather. You know,
tell you the truth, it's also expensive for us. So,
it's expensive for me.
No, I mean in Bulgaria.
In Bulgaria, now with the prices are going up. Yeah, I can see that.
It's starting to get more expensive.
It's strange.
But not in the village.
No.
In the village, it's still...
You can easily, with 1 decker, you can work and feed like a family, no problem.
Yeah, life in the villages is much cheaper.
Yeah, it's kind of been our saving grace, really, hasn't it? It enabled us to
there's not a lot of places to spend your money as well. No. If you go for a walk in the city, you see lots of places where you can spend your money.
Yeah, it does.
But in the village, not.
And our village shop, you can buy cement, you can buy nails, you can buy everything.
Everything you need.
Everything.
It's like.
And now we got a coffee machine in the village. We were so excited.
We just got a new coffee machine in our village, and we're having we have little afternoon walks where we go and we take a little bottle of rakia and we go buy hot chocolate, and we have a hot chocolate next to the machine. So, whoa, things are looking better. It's the small
walking
things.
Destination.
It's the small things in life, isn't it? Really.
So glad you've been in Bulgaria. So glad I met you guys. I want to do this yet one at least many more times. Hope to see you in Mihailovo. Hope to get you to Varna somehow and have a walk there.
Sounds
for
good.
A couple of days or a day, at least a day.
Yeah.
And do you have some advice for the young people?
Yeah, follow your passion.
Yeah.
Don't try and work your life for money.
Find something that you really like, that you really enjoy doing.
If you enjoy doing it and you put enough of your energy into it, it will grow.
Pay back. It will pay you back.
It doesn't matter what it is. You know, and I always think that people should try and find some form of expressing themselves. You know, you can be sweeping the streets, and if you love that job, if you love the fact that you're looking after the streets and you're keeping it clean and you do it with cognitive empathy and that lot, you will do well at it. It doesn't matter what you do.
You can find satisfaction in all sorts of things.
And don't necessarily. I would say to the young people, don't be one of them people that just does things for yourself, you know, because if you can't help yourself, help others. And in helping others, you will eventually end up helping yourself.
I love this message. Thank you so much, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Благодаря ви. Благодаря на всички. Надявам се да ви хареса. Hope everyone likes this. Bye, guys.
Bye very much.
Bye.
Oh, that was great.
We had fun there, didn't we?
Yeah, that was good.